Good evening, ladies. Welcome to this LinkedIn Live with Thrive with Mentoring. Heidi and Sarah, welcome. How are you doing this evening?
I'm
Thank
good,
you.
thank you.
Fantastic. Well, both of you have been nominated by each other for the Best Mentee and the Best Mentor Award. And that's quite significant. So, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you.
Today, we're going to talk about this beautiful mentorship that you have walked together and you have created over 6 months during last year. And now, Heidi, you were the mentor, and Sarah, you were the
Yes.
mentee, right? And from reading the nomination applications and what you've said about each other, I could tell there were some major shifts that came from your conversations, from your mentorship. So let's delve in. Heidi, I want to find out from you first. What made you decide to become a mentor on the first cohort of Thrive in Nairobi?
Okay, so I have been a mentor before for various programs, but my mentorship experience before was focusing on youth. So when the call for mentorship with Thrive came, which is now basically for women, and that is my other passion. So I was like, okay, this will be a good opportunity just to see what can come out, working with women, and it's been a good journey, if you ask me. Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll come back to that question and talk a little bit more about the journey. And
Yeah.
Sarah, I want to hear from you. What made you choose to be a mentor, a mentee?
Tea. Yeah, so I just felt like I was at a point in my life and career where I wanted a shift. I didn't know how to make that happen, or a part of me was too scared, or I felt like I just needed a little push, or I needed some guidance. It just felt to me like I had used all the tools that I had. And so I thought, why not find somebody who's gone there before you and they can show you some of these things. You don't have to do everything on your own. Yeah. So a little help goes a long way. So that's why I decided, let me start looking for a mentor. Yeah.
And that's a fantastic reason because mentees and mentors, the mentors go before they have all the experience, and that's the whole purpose of mentorship, right? So that's wonderful that you actually realized that you needed some extra guidance where you were at, from where you're at. So Heidi, let's talk about you know your journey as the mentor and what did you learn from the process with mentoring Sarah?
So maybe just to mention, and we've always been laughing about this, like when we had the first meetup at the first cohort meetup, and I met Sarah, it was like chemistry right from the beginning. It was so easy to talk to her throughout, and we just hit it off from like the very start. In fact, I think one of the things she was saying, she was like, because we were doing selection, I think three mentees selected me through the. She was saying, she was like, I wish she just go and choose me, and it just happened that I also chose her, and it was like just right from the start, the chemistry was great. And what really amazed me about Sarah, she was so clear on her goals and vision for what she wanted from this journey, which now what made it very easy for us to interact and just plan on how to move forward.
Fantastic. And I know, Sarah, that there's been a major shift in your journey through this mentorship and the conversations that you've had. So, can you share with us what happened during those 6 months?
I mean, Heidi's right. From the moment we met, and Heidi is the first person I talked to when I walked into the room. So even before I knew, is she a mentor? Is she part of the group? Is she? I didn't know who she was, but she was the first person I said hi to, and I was like, oh, she's so warm.
Come
So
on.
right from the beginning, we had such good chemistry, and I think the one thing that stood out for me is Heidi just reminded me of who I am. So, I was just in a point where I'm like, I want to do this thing, but I'm not sure. Do I have the right qualifications? Am I the right person? Do I have the right skills?
Mm-hmm.
And Heidi was the first person to look at me and say, I don't think you see yourself the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And so throughout our journey, it was just her reminding me of who I am and just making me aware of the kind of skills that I actually already have, that I don't need to go back and upskill every time I want to move up or every time I want to do something new. It doesn't mean you have to keep going back to do,
Mm-hmm.
additional things and certificates and learnings and, all that, which is, I mean, it's fantastic.
Yes.
But just to be confident in what you already have and the skills that you've already gathered. And I think that's what carries me through to today. So I'll discuss the major shift. There's the very job that I told Heidi I wanted when we met is a job I
It
landed.
happened.
It
For me,
happened.
mentorship ended, and it was like, how beautiful is this? So I'm really glad we met, because I feel like we just met at the right time.
That's incredible. Because what
Yeah,
I'm hearing is that Heidi held up a mirror, really made you see yourself for who you are, but
exactly.
also guided you with taking those next steps to getting that role that you had
Yeah,
already had your sights on.
exactly.
What I
Yeah.
found so interesting about what you said as well, Sarah, is that, you know, we find ourselves as women always looking for, what don't we have? And sometimes
Yeah,
we forget what we do have. And
Exactly.
and it's very beautifully illustrating what you said, that Heidi made you or helped you see what you do have right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So fantastic. So Heidi, I want to know, what did you learn about yourself through this mentoring process? You said that you have mentored youth before. Was it a
yeah.
bit different in this process?
I think mentoring somebody who is a bit advanced in their career, they have so much clarity. For mostly youth are people who are just out of school, trying to figure out what it is they want to do with their lives. But what I learned about Sarah, and I think that is what's now different when you're mentoring somebody who is a bit advanced in their career, is there's so much clarity in what they want from the journey, what they want from life, and what I expect from the relationship. I can say Sarah is a template person. We'd always meet with templates. and then
Love a good Excel.
and then also as a mentee, she was very, as in she like, I think what time with mentoring, the mentee could kind of just take leadership of the reins of where the relationship was. And I think Sarah
Mm,
got that memo right from the start,
mm,
because she would set up meetings, and she got me at a point where I think just before the elections we were so busy in my work, because I work in
mhm,
government. We were very busy, and it was even sometimes very hard, but it would be even Saturday in the evening, as in whatever time we had, and very flexible, and just focused on her goals. And for me, I found that very, very encouraging. And also for myself, that is what I learned from her. Sometimes we we try to figure it out, but the clarity of which her goal is something which I really admired in her, and I try to do that even for myself.
mm. Beautiful, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. You sound like you describing the perfect mentee.
Yeah.
All of those roles that a mentee needs to play, from
Mm,
leading the conversation, being clear about what they want, driving the process with the mentor, and actually showing up for themselves, and showing
yeah.
that they're making progress. So
Yeah.
thank you for highlighting that. um, I want to ask both of you this question, and it's specifically around women in Africa and the importance of mentorship for women in Africa today.
Yeah.
So Sarah, do you want to answer first, and then we'll close off with Heidi.
Yeah, I think this is just the right time. There's a lot of focus on women across the continent. Organizations are starting to take women and their issues seriously. And so I think if there was ever a time where women can band together to support one another, this is the right time. And for everybody who's been privileged enough to be mentored, you owe it to the next generation to pay it forward. So I cannot wait to be the one now talking about my template mentee in a couple of months or years, or a few days to come. So I think it's really just we're in the right season, and we're so lucky that we're living in these times where all you have to do is raise your voice or raise up your hand, and someone will see you, and someone will acknowledge you, and someone will help you. So I'd just like to encourage everyone in the next cohort, please come out, both mentors and mentees, come out and support one another. This is a beautiful journey, and I wish more of us would be open to help and receiving help. Yeah.
So the time is now, as you say, Sarah. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And Heidi, we're going to close off with your answer to this question. So
Okay.
please go ahead.
No, there's so much pressure to make it sound good. So now, I remember one of the things that I was really shocked when I walked into the cohort meeting, the first cohort meeting we did in Nairobi. And I was like, I didn't know we have so many women who are rich, who are advancing their careers, who are, very well accomplished. And you see in our different sectors, in our different places of work, they say it's lonely at the top. But what I like about platforms like private mentoring, they bring all these people together, and you're like, oh, so we have this and with this. And then I like the way it was so balanced, everyone from everywhere from communication. So we're like, I actually don't have to move out of this room to get anything done.
Yeah.
I get all that under one roof. And I think that's what now platforms like private mentoring does. Apart from now the mentor-mentee relationship, I have also other networks from other people in different sectors who I can collaborate with in the same cohort. And I think that is one of the wonderful things I carry away from this relationship. Thank you so much.
That's a beautiful way to end this conversation with both of you. Thank you so much for sharing the deep impact that your mentee-mentor relationship has had. And also thank you for thinking about how to pay it forward to other women and encouraging other women to take up this opportunity that exists. And as a previous mentor had said to me, we are stronger together. So, and I truly believe that. So thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Heidi, for being here this evening with me. And
Thank you so much.
I really look forward to hearing, more about what happens with this, your nominations, because I think you both are well deserving of your nominations. So let's see what happens on the 10th of June.
I hope Sarah gets it. I really hope Sarah gets it.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay, good night, ladies. Thank you so much for your time.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.